We're at 5 after. This is the part where I get to say, thank you for being here. Thank you for being our guest, Robin.
You're
What's your
welcome.
story?
Well, thanks again for having me. And I really appreciate all you do, really, because you're kind of doing some awesome stuff right now. You know, it's the pandemic and you get to see people's faces that you normally wouldn't. But thank you, Shannon. I feel like you're my good friend. You know what I mean? Like I watch your things and
I
I go,
love
she's
that.
so sweet. And I like that you giggle. I like it because I giggle too. But anyway, I got to stop right now. Um, so anyway, thanks. So what happened with me is well, first, when I was a little girl, I did swim lessons like we all did, like a lot of us did. And I still remember my first memory of swimming was at the local high school. We had swim lessons and I did the swim lessons and I practiced and I went across the pool. But what happened was when I went to the next level, I realized I didn't know how to swim. I was walking across the pool and using my arms. And then they put me to the next level. And then I got into the deep end and they had jump in and go across. I go, I don't know what to do. So that was my introduction is I kind of was cheating. So I was probably about 7. So from then on, my family, we did recreational swimming. We went to the ocean a lot. I grew up, California, kind of where I live now, by the coast. I grew up in San Jose, but I live in Santa Cruz area now. But growing up, we went to lakes a lot. I did water skiing. I learned scuba diving. I was always around the ocean and around lakes. And we did all summer, my brothers and I did recreational swimming. And one of my memories was like just all afternoon, that's what we did. We play. And then we come home and we lay in the sun by the sliding glass door in our living room and just warm up, with the sun coming down on us or lay on the sidewalk. So growing up, I was always kind of exposed to the swimming. High school, I did the swim team, but I don't really remember learning strokes there. We just swam, everybody was welcome on the team. So anyway, I lived out at lake for a while. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me? I feel like I'm alone. I have these headsets on. Like, does anybody hear me? So I was exposed to the water, but we never wore goggles. Like in high school, we didn't have goggles. Like we didn't even have swim caps. We didn't do that. Like I don't remember people swimming in the ocean or lakes with goggles and swim caps, even in the pool. So that's kind of my era of growing up with the water. And then as I got older, like I said, we just played in the water. I had a lake near my house. My friend and I would go on there's water ski day and sailboat day. We'd go on sailboat day and swim across the lake, maybe a mile, but it wasn't like distance swimming. It was more like just for fun. Then cut to later, when I finally, I had kids and got married, and I was more like along the shores with my kids and going to the beach, and I wouldn't really swim. I just kind of play with them. And so way down the road, I got, as time went on, I was with my brother-in-laws one day. I was probably, this like 2008 in Thanksgiving, and they had been doing Alcatraz for about 15 years, the Invitational. And I always heard about it. I go, you guys do Alcatraz? Oh my God, how do they do it? So they go, you can do it. And I go, I can? So this is about 2008. I go, how do I do this? What do I do? I don't know. And I hear about it. It was a big deal because, escaping from Alcatraz, it is still a big deal. And so I trained. I go, I'm going to try it. So I started training. I took it seriously. I went to the pool, the local pool here, and I go, I got to train for Alcatraz. And so I go, like, there was a little group in the mornings that swim twice a week. And I go, I got to train. And then we'd swim, and I go, did I swim? I swam a mile. Oh my God. I didn't even know. I go, maybe I could do it. So that was a big deal for me. So it was like 2008. So finally, my kids were little, so I'd sneak off in the morning. I think they were about maybe 4, 11, 10, 11, 10, 12, 14. So they were little, so I could sneak off and train. And so I took it seriously. I mean, I still believe Alcatraz. I don't make fun of people doing Alcatraz. It's still a big deal,
Yeah.
Any swim is a big deal. But so what happened is I did this Alcatraz, and got on the boat with all these people and I was so nervous. And I had heard if you put water over your head, or you hit these right here, if you put water, cold water, it'll make you so you're not as scared when you get in the water. So people are like, can I have some of your water? I go, no, I can't give out any of my water. To put it on my head before I jump off that boat. So I jumped off the boat and then I got in, you jump off this about 8 feet high. And I got in and I go, it was thunder and lightning that day. And it was like, I lost my friends and I was like, where are the big swells? And I go, this is fun. You know what I mean? It was like, maybe this is it. And so I did it and I was so scared and adrenaline. And I kept asking the kayakers, is this safe? They go, yeah, it's safe. I go, is this okay? We're out here. Because it was so much, the lightning was coming and they go, well, the lightning's going east towards Oakland. It's fine. And so anyway, when I finished that, I go, this is really fun. It was kind of like I was hooked. I was hooked on the feeling of open water swimming and the changing conditions and just the unexpected I was just so scared that I thought I was going to die, but it was fun. So that's kind of what I got. That's kind of my introduction to like wearing a cap and goggles. And I did wear a wetsuit because I thought you're supposed to, because everyone wore them. I didn't know, I really didn't know there was an option not to swim Alcatraz without one. I don't know. I didn't know. So that was kind of my introduction to swimming in the open water in a swim, not just playing and not just going across the lake without without goggles. So that was about 2008. And then what happened was I started swimming in Santa Cruz is where I live. I swim with people. They go about half a mile around a pier. They go a mile. And I started doing that. That was kind of like my thing. I go, this is just fun. And I still really didn't know there's a thing like distance swimming. It sounds like I should have known, but I really didn't know that.
You got to be in the right circles. It's true.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I knew like people swim Alcatraz, people swim around our wharf, but and I knew people did like the top people did like English Channel or something like that, or people you hear in the news. So anyway, time goes on, and sorry, I don't have my notes, so I'm just going off the top of my head. I hope that's okay.
It's totally great.
And if you can't hear me, let me know. So what happened was about a year later, it ends up I had a mammogram, which everybody should have. And I found out it was like a year later. So before that, I was, like I said, I was swimming for fun here and there. And Friday nights I'd swim with a group in the area for the more triathletes mostly, but the training for the triathlon. And some local swimmers and stuff. And so then I got a mammogram. I found out I had breast cancer. This is like 2009. So that year I just couldn't swim anymore. I had surgery. Well, my dad ended up having a stroke. It all ties in kind of to my story, as my dad was very ill. He had a stroke. I found out I had breast cancer.
Oh my God.
It ends up, I didn't want to tell my dad that I had breast cancer because I didn't want him to feel bad that he couldn't come over and watch the kids. So it was like a lot going on mentally. And he ended up dying before my surgery. And then my mom had Alzheimer's. They weren't married, but she was getting worse. And then I'd have her come over and she'd go to appointments with me, but she didn't understand what was wrong with me. She goes, I don't know. I have things with my head. I don't know what. I try to ask if we had family history. So anyway, all during my treatment, I had like 3 cancers, breast cancer, 3 types of breast cancer. And I had surgery and chemo. And it was like a year of being ill, not being in the water because I had low blood counts. They said, don't go in the water unless you have your own pool. Wow. So within this whole year, my kids, it was a hard time for them losing their dad. And then my mom, so my mom ended up dying while I was in treatment. So my dad and mom had died while I was in treatment. So it was a hard year. It was like 2009. Wow. It was just hard, but I power through because you're helping other people. So you forget about what's wrong with you. You're taking care of your kids, taking care of your parents. Yeah. So anyway, so after all that treatment, like I said, I didn't go in the water. And then after I was cleared to go in the water, I get back in and I was going to go one more Alcatraz. And that's when the water became different to me. It became like I wasn't able to cry. I couldn't cry. I was like, I didn't want to be sad in front of the kids. I wanted them to be as normal as possible. I wanted their life to feel normal. So as soon as I got back in the water, it was different. And I truly feel this. I feel like my parents were with me and I could cry for them in the water and in the ocean. I go, it feels like the ocean is healing me. And I
Oh my
really felt
gosh.
like that. And so I go swim here in Santa Cruz. I go, oh my gosh, they're with me. They really are. And then the waves are coming and I felt like they're there. And I truly felt like it was healing for me. So kind of the ocean became different for me then. It was more
Wow.
mainly the ocean. I wasn't really going in lakes. And it was because that movement, it was kind of scary and it kind of felt like, I felt like they were in my heart. So my mom,
Wow.
before she died, she kind of had a clarity a couple times. And
Hmm.
she said, Robin, your heart and my heart, they're together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's talking. And so I
Yeah.
felt like that's what I really felt. I felt like she's here. And then, so that's kind of like I started wanting to go in the ocean. Like I really needed to go and I'd take off and go. But I still was doing maybe a mile here and there in our area. I go to San Francisco, um, swim in aquatic park, and I'd swim in Santa Cruz. And then, so anyway, it was becoming a different thing to me, the open water, but still wasn't any idea of distance. It just really
Hmm.
wasn't in my radar.
Right.
Then one day, so I started swimming. I have a friend, Scott Tapley, lives nearby, and he was starting to swim longer distances. And there's another friend, Kim Rutherford. I knew her, but I didn't really hang out with her because she was like one of the big kids. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you think, I would never swim with them. They're so fast. Like I really did. I didn't think she'd ever be my friend. But anyway, so we had a couple of people that were distance people, but I didn't really know what they were doing.
Mhm.
But I was swimming with Scott, my friend Scott, one day, and he goes, I'm training for something. And I didn't know what he was talking about. He said Anna Kappa. I'm like, whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about. But so it was a thing. So I swam with him one day and I go, I'm so slow. I was way behind him. He was going to swim like 6 hours. And I go, I'll swim like, an hour. And I swam like half an hour. I was so nervous because I couldn't keep up with them. And so I get home that night and I go email, when everybody emailed everybody, like you don't
Yes.
text, email.
Right.
Like I didn't know, you text, but you do the A, B, like I don't text. So I go, dear Scott, thank you so much for sticking with me. And he emailed me back and he said, Robin, he goes, I said, I'm so slow. I can't keep up. Never mind. Just don't invite me, whatever I said. And he goes, Robin, I'll never forget this. He goes, Robin, you're a strong swimmer. You're capable of anything, even a big channel. And I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean? And I go, what? Like somebody's telling me something, like words. I realized that day words are important. Like somebody's telling me I'm capable of something that I had no idea I would be. And I thought, so that night, so I'm like a night owl. So that night I go, what? He thinks I am. And he knows me as a swimmer. Like we used to swim Alcatrazes and stuff, like not together, but I knew he did it and we belonged to the same pool. So I go, if Scott thinks I can, maybe I can. And so I
Mm.
still remember that, but I still remember about words, words
Yeah, that's
are
why I
so
became a
important.
coach.
Yes, so he's so awesome. So then that night I go, what does this mean? What kind of channel? What? So I
Mm.
go, well, there's no way Catalina, because sharks, there's no way I would ever do that. So I started Googling that night. I literally said like English. So I go, English channel, I guess. I don't know. What else is there? I have no idea. Like, I know there's no sharks there. So I first said, Googling, do slow swimmers swim the English channel? So I started looking up, they'd have like YouTube videos of people swimming it that are slower. I'm like, maybe I could do it. So I thought, maybe I'll do the English channel. So I go, and this was making me happy, like with my parents, I just
Yeah,
needed, it was like,
yeah,
I was craving something. I don't know what it
yeah.
was. So I ended up looking for, this is all like in one night. So I Googled coaching for English channel for slow swimmers, so then I'd reach out to people. They're probably people that I know their names now, but at the time I didn't know who they were. They're like, oh, you got to get faster. What's your 100? I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what are you 100? What's your mile? I don't know. So I practiced at the pool and I timed myself and they go, you're way too slow. You have to get faster. So I go, well, I don't know if I can. So I keep reaching out. Like when you go to the doctor and you try to get the answer you want, you
Yeah.
reach out to more people. And so I finally found a guy that said, you could do it with your time, with your speed, just have to get more streamlined, practice, but you could do it. It ends up, it's a guy named Gary Bruce, who actually was a pilot and he had done the English Channel and he didn't really coach before. He was like trying to be a coach and a pilot.
Mm.
And he would go to San Francisco and London. So he knew the ins and outs of Dover and he would come to San Francisco and on his route. So what I said, okay, I'll do it. It's what happened was I met him. I go, okay, can I meet you? And like, I'm not telling anybody I'm doing this because they think I'm a weirdo. So I meet him, and then he met with me, and he's like, I'll tell you, I paid him not that much, but I paid him to tell me what to do. How do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
He goes like, this is the pilot, Reg and Ray Brickle. I know them. Book them now. So this is 2014. And I go,
Wow.
okay, I'll do it in a year and a half. And he goes, well, maybe wait a little longer. So I booked it for, after I met with him, I go, I'll book it. So it was for 2016. And I still haven't really swam, before, besides like a mile.
Right.
So I go, I got to do it. So I ended up meeting with him, and then he's telling me what to do. He goes, this is where you stay, Barn Ridge. This is what you do. You need to start swimming more. You got to do this. So he said, go to, it's called like, it's a Cliff. Cliff and Kevin Murphy ran, a lot of these people were helping, Emma France were helping at this long distance training camp in America. And I go, okay, I'll do it. But I got to, I have kids. You can't just take off. So
It's hard.
I go, okay, well, when is it? Okay, there's one in April, and this is February. Like, I booked it right away. I found out, Scott emailed me like maybe end of January, already February. I told my husband, I think I'm going to something this channel. He goes, no, that's not safe. That's dangerous. He goes, no, you mean a relay? And I go, no, I really think I might. He goes, that's dangerous. People die. He's like, be careful. And so then I go, well, I'm thinking about it. I didn't really tell him for sure. So then I booked. So then I go, well, like I'm not stupid. Like, I word things in a way that let him decide that let him say, you should do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, go to camp. Not like I'm doing this. I go, what do you think? I'm thinking of, there's this camp that you help become a distance swimmer, get you used to the swimming in the cold water in America. Do you think I should do it? And I go, and what we could do is visit my brother in Amsterdam on vacation.
Yeah.
Right after. So I'll go for the, because the kids, you got to like have someone help with them.
Absolutely.
Leave for a week.
Shore
So
support.
I go, what do you think of this? Should I go for a week, and then I'll meet you in Amsterdam to visit my brother, and we could all have vacation? He goes, yeah, do it. I go, yes. So I went to this camp in like April. And then anyway, and that's when I found there's these people like Kevin Murphy's there, Cliff, like Emma France. They were doing a documentary about her, and all these people were training for their 6 hour for English Channel. A lot of them were, or they're pushing themselves. And so that's when I started pushing the distance. Like, I went there, go, I'll swim maybe 2 hours, because it's cold.
Right.
And I had no idea I was going to swim longer. And they go, there's a 2 hour, there's a 6 hour, or you just swim what you want. And I went there, and I go, so I was cold because it was under 60, to qualify. And it was off season, before their season in America. So we were wearing sweatshirts. So I just was like in awe of all these people, like telling their stories and giving us advice. And I go, this is like the best thing I've ever done. And like Kevin Murphy, I'm like, oh my God, like, he's the guy that said all these English channels. And Cliff has these stories about how he gets through things in his mind. Like, I really felt like that really helped me kickstart.
Yeah.
So I still hadn't swum like an hour or 2 hours ever. So I get there, and they did a 6 hour qualifier. And let me know if I'm talking too much.
You're doing great.
They did a 6 hour qualifier, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. But I get in, and I'm like, okay, see the boat there? Well, if I get out, what am I going to do? Wait for everybody to finish in the cold?
Right.
So I start swimming. I'm kind of cold. And I start swimming, and I'm really slow. And we kind of did big circles. So of course, everybody's passing me. And I'm kind of in the back. And I'm like, that's fine, because you're doing circles. Like, I'll see those people soon, because they'll pass me again. So I'm not alone. And then all of a sudden, I come into this guy, acquaintance, and he goes, I'm really cold. And I go, let's do it together. So it's kind of like I got out of myself to help him, even though I need help.
Right.
And it's kind of like mental. I go, let's do it. You can do it. And we swam side by side. And it's almost like I did it. I got out of myself. I didn't want to sit on that boat by my, sitting there waiting for everybody.
Right.
And I did a 6 hour without ever knowing I was going to do it. And I go,
wow.
Well, it's like you're more capable of things that you don't realize.
Yeah.
And I realized that. And I go, and the guy goes, thank you so much for helping me out. I'm like, well, you helped me out.
Yeah.
We helped each other. And he was just cold as why he needed someone to stick with him. But that was kind of the beginning of maybe I have it in me. It's like you challenge yourself, and you kind of come up with these big ideas, and you go, and then you start doing the work. Like I knew I couldn't, it's not like, oh, I booked it, ha ha ha, I'm gonna try it. No, I knew I had to work hard, but I have a family too. So I can't like just take off every day.
Yep.
So that was huge to me, that 6 hour. And I go, and I was so tired. I was like tired for like a day. I go, I can't move. It's so hard. But it was that high, you know, that endorphin high that I go, oh my gosh, maybe I could do this. And so that's kind of how that started, is the beginning of training for something big for the English Channel, is that camp. I would recommend something like that. If you have kids or anything, if you can't, you go like, mommy, where are you going? Where are you going? You know, I'll be back in about 5 hours. You know, you can't like, but if you're gone, you know, you're gone. They know you're gone. You have like your friend Barbie at your house watching the kids or whatever. So that's the beginning of my big starting to be capable, even though it was in my mind, the reality that maybe I can do bigger swims. And I'm doing some of these things that people are training for. And I'm actually did the camp. I did everything. I said, I'm doing everything. I'm not going to, once I got there, I go, I'm doing everything. I'm not going to like say, no, I can't do that. I go, I'm here, I'm paying for it.
Right.
So then after that, I go, and I, like I said, I'm talking too much, but let me know when to stop. But this part of it kind of is important, because so I was meeting my brother and my whole family in Amsterdam right after that to go on vacation, you know, to act like, yeah, we went on vacation. But I had one day off. I go, I got to meet Reg and Ray. I got to meet the pilot, you know, because I want to tell him I'm slower. I'm good for this. I want to see him face to face, because, you know, they go, hello, love. Like you can't really tell them on the phone. They go, okay, bye. Like you can't, like they didn't like communicate, you know? So I go, how am I going to do this? So I get a flight. And I used to be a travel agent. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to fly. Okay. Tell my brother, I tell my husband, I'll see you there. I have one day. Well, I get there early, you know? So I go down to Dover, and the guy that I told you, Gary, he goes, yeah, I'll meet you. So he met me in Dover. He goes, well, we're going to find Reg and Ray for you. So we're like, where are they? You know, you call, they don't answer the phone. So we go, they're either in Folkestone, which is near Dover, they're in a pub somewhere. That pub, well, they call it the office. They're in that office or that office. I go, okay. So I meet them down there like for one night, and we find them. We go, okay, where are they? Where are they? And then they go, there they are. And I go, of course that's them. You know, they're like look alike. They have the singlets, they call them the tank tops, and they're in a pub, like one beer, but they hang out. And I go, hi, like it's American. They're like, okay. And then, so anyway, I told them, seriously, I said, here's the deal. I'm capable. I know I have it in me. I know I could do it in my head. I just know, but I'm slow. And I want to tell you, I don't need to be pulled because I'm slow. And they go, we have you. They understood. They go, look me in the eye and said, yes. And I got to see their boat, but it was, you know how the tides are so high there and low in England? The boats were not in the water. It was a low tide. So they're just sitting there in Folkestone. It was in the harbor. So you couldn't get on the boat, but you could look at it. And then my initials are RR, and the boats had a RR on it. And their initials are Reg and Ray. And we're like, that's meant to be. Like they said that to me. And I go, yes. And we were matching colors, or they had blue tank tops and I had blue shirt. So it was like, it was happening, you know, it was like these little things, but I felt like I needed to talk to them face to face, because I really didn't figure out of any slower people. I couldn't, you know, back then Googling wasn't as easy. You couldn't really find as many things. I didn't know really if I could do it being slow. And I knew I could improve my stroke, but I still didn't think I could get fast, you know? So that was a really bonus that I got to meet them. And anyway, so this was
2014.
Yeah, so this is 2014, and then Gary, who's like he was really coaching me from a distance, but more telling me, the main thing he did was telling me what to do. Like, you should do this length of swim this year to feel like you can do it, because you're not going to go there without these big swims.
Right.
There's no, I was taking it seriously. And so as my husband started seeing me, little by little, he goes, gosh, she has it. Like, she's doing this. Like, he started realizing it. Like, it's not like, so, so I'll just tell you a couple of the swims that led me to, I could tell you my first.
What was your first big swim?
Yeah, I'll tell you my first big swim. Like it's in my head, but I have notes, but I'm scared to look at them because then my eyes would be down there.
You're
Like,
doing great. You're doing
okay,
great. Okay,
okay,
first big
so
swim. So you've met the pilot. You're
yeah, I met the
signed up for
pilot.
the
So
English channel for 2016.
yeah, so
Okay.
Gary said, do something. So I started swimming more, basically. I mean, there weren't official swims, but I joined the South End Rowing Club. I did it, actually, I joined it before I decided to do the English Channel, because I did the Alcatraz, and I started swimming in aquatic park, and then you pay the fee to get in. It was like $8. You need the change. I go, maybe I could join. How do I join? Do I have to apply? Will they let me in? I don't know. What is this? What is this kind of club is this? So do they have a meeting with a board? Do they going to deny me? Like, I don't know. I don't know that stuff.
Right.
So I joined. But I was scared to go because I go, where are these people? I don't know who they are. They're going to say, who is this lady? So I didn't really go, but I did join there. But I started swimming at aquatic park. So I was swimming here in Santa Cruz. And then swimming with my friend Scott, like I said, who's the one that encouraged me. And I don't even know. And I started, and then he goes, Robin, oh my God, you swam 6 hours. I didn't know you had that in you. What are you telling me? You didn't even tell me? So he knew I was going to do the English Channel. So I started swimming more with people here with Scott, who's distance. And then Kim, who's my good friend too. I didn't really know. I knew of her still, but I didn't swim with her yet. But so anyway, what happened is I was going to train for Tahoe. Well, Tahoe's neat. It's like, I thought, you know what? Something that means something to me. And Gary's kind of telling me that, like, do something that's meaningful in some way, that means something that you want to train for. And so Tahoe, we grew up going there skiing when I was little. It's like from San Jose, where I grew up, it's like, 3.5 hour. I actually worked at a ski resort up there when I was in college, and just more winter though. I didn't really go there in the summer, but because we had the beach, So, but I knew Tahoe, so I knew it was special. So I go, okay, I'll try Tahoe a length. But in the meantime, I was doing a lot of longer swims, but not official swims.
Right.
So what happened was I go to Tahoe and I meet this guy, Reptile, Tom Lithicum he's the guy. I go, who do I call? Yes. They go, Tom. Tom, Reptile. So I'm calling, hi, Tom, whatever. So he kind of introduced me also to go to the club more, because he was the swim commissioner. And he goes, you should start doing the club swims. I go, I can't do those. I'm too slow. He goes, you're like me. And so he invited me into all these swims they were doing, and I started doing them. So anyway, my first marathon swim was actually an accident, because what happened is I'm training for Tahoe. So I go up there for like a day. And then I was up there with Tom. And sometimes I go with my son, and I call him. And then Tom said, he made up this swim. And I think he had done it called the Vikings, which a lot of people know now, but it's like 10.5 miles. And he goes, I did this swim, but I'm having my friend Dusty and Kelly do the swim Tuesday night. And I said, he goes, you want to go on it to practice night swimming? Just get on for like an hour. And I said, well, let me call my husband, because I got to stay one more night. That was like in a Motel 6 or something. And he goes, my husband, yeah, go for it. So we all stayed in this Motel 6, me, the 2 swimmers, and this observer, which they didn't call them observers, but they were notating everything.
Yeah.
And we're all together, and for 4 hours, we're all sitting here. So I get up. So they started their swim. It was going to be tandem. So it was Dusty and this Kelly. And so I go, okay, I'll start for an hour. I'll get in, and I'll just be a crew. I'll help, and I'll get to watch what happens. And so what happened was we started at night, and I was super scared. And then I screamed, and I go, what is it? Tahoe. He goes, Tahoe Tessie. Like, it's not a shark. You know what I mean? Like, I'm realizing it's not a shark, because I'm used to sharks where I live. Because I screamed because something touched me. So I start swimming, and I had on my boat, like, my snacks and my little coffee drinks. And Kelly, the girl, had just done a huge swim the day before, and so it wasn't her day. So they're starting the tandem. I'm with them, really dark, kind of nervous. And Kelly, like an hour, she goes, I just does not have it in me. So they go, you get out. It's not your day. And I'm in it. I haven't touched anything. And Dusty, my friend, goes, hey, Dusty, hey, Robin, do you want to keep swimming? Because we're good together. I go, yeah, that'd be great. So then we're like, I didn't really have feed and stuff. So I had my Starbucks cappuccino or whatever they are, those little Starbucks mocha. And I had I think I had like a shake, and I had some food. And so and he had fins on, so he wasn't doing it. Back then, you just do it. It wasn't like he just wanted to do that swim. So I didn't have fins, he had fins. So we were kind of perfect, because he's a little slower than me. We're kind of perfectly set up to be together. And we were so happy. We're like, So I go, can I have my coffee? And we shared our coffee drink. Like, this is fun. And so we had so much fun. And Dusty explains it. He goes, we swam side by side, stroke for stroke. We told stories and we were laughing. And so we ended up doing this biking. And the thing is I didn't plan it. Even though I knew I had been doing longer swims,
Yeah.
no stress. So it's kind of like that stress was lifted. And I loved it because I had no expectations.
Yeah.
And I was doing it, and I was trained because I was swimming a lot, but I wasn't trained to do that swim that day. And so we ended
Right.
up doing the swim. And the whole time we're sharing food and just laughing. And so kind of a joke is I had this temporary tooth because I had like a crown. And so I had one of those goo chomp things, like a chewy goo. And we're like, yeah, because I had those as snacks and I ate it. And oh my God, my tooth fell out. So we handed it to someone on the bed. They go, what are you handing us? I go, it's my tooth. So then the whole time we're trying to think of an outlaw name for me, just to be funny, because Reptile actually has an outlaw name named Wolf. Dusty had Mad Dog. And they go, we need an outlaw name for you. And so we're making up like Mommy Dearest or Calamity Jane. And then all of a sudden they go, Fang, Fang. So my outlaw name, like my nickname to them is Fang, because my tooth fell out, because it's kind of funny. So I did that swim and I go, I just did a swim, what? You know, it was like really cool that I was able to do it and not stress.
Yeah.
And even though I was swimming, I didn't think I was ready yet, but I was, you know? And so that was my first marathon swim. I mean, it was like an accident, but it was meant to be. It was like, as they say, perfectly imperfect, because Dusty really wanted to do that swim and his sidekick got out. And so I kind of like meant to be that we did it together. And that truly was, so that's my first marathon swim. It's kind of interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And then
how did it feel when you finished that first marathon swim?
It was just really, truly just couldn't believe that they're on that boat helping us, happy. We had a kayaker, John, who's probably like super far away from us, like way ahead of us. But you know, you don't really know what you're supposed to. We're like just following him, you know. But that he was out there, and they got up at 3 a.m, and Tom was piloting us, and they let me swim with them. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I was really thankful, truly. I mean, I was tired later, you know, you're just exhausted, because then I had to drive right home because the kids, you know, they had like soccer practice or whatever. Like, I'll be back by 5, you know. My husband's like, what did you just do? So reality hits. But I think I really felt, I can't believe that they're happy on the boat. The girl that got out of the boat, Kelly, was happy for us. She was happy. It wasn't, nobody was mad. It was almost like a feeling of like your heart is full, you know. It's like I really felt like this is very special community, because I've never seen anything like this before. And it wasn't even about just me. It was me and Dusty, and he let me swim with him and I swam with him. Like, he let me swim with him and I swam with him. whatever I don't know what that means, but but anyway, that was it. So I just did. I felt like, not so much like, good for me, I finished. I didn't feel that. I just felt like, kind of like, wow, that was pretty cool. You know, that was really neat. We didn't feel the altitude because we were going slow enough, you know, where you're not out of breath. And I guess because we were talking a lot to each other during it, and encouraging each other. So it wasn't really like, if I would think if my first marathon swim was me in my head the whole time, I might have been different, but it was really us. It was the two of us, and we did it together, really. And I don't think it would have been the same if I did it alone. I might have been really nervous, and I could have gotten sick because I was so stressed, but I really didn't. So it was really neat. That was it. That was.
So what was your next intentional marathon swim?
Well, the answer to that question is, which one haven't you not finished? Is this one. So then I go, well, I'm gonna do Tahoe. Well, you know, I forget it's hard. Like, you go, yeah, I'll do it. Like the length. Like, really, what was I thinking? Because I think I didn't go up there long enough to acclimate well. And I think I knew a little bit about what to do, but it's still kind of new on getting information on what's the right thing to do up there. Now we kind of know more about the altitude. I mean, and Gary, so my Gary's still around. He's my friend that I'm paying, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it in a mean way, but He's my friend. I paid him to be my friend. He's a great friend. No, no, anyway. But so anyway, he decided so I was going to do Tahoe. So that was the plan. So my family came up there, you know, my son, who's now 23, but he was maybe 18. He's my kayaker. I have Dusty, whom I did my swim with side by side on my crew. I have
So this is like the next year, like 20.
This is like a couple months later.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was the plan. That's why I was there training for it, but I just happened to do a swim.
Right.
But so anyway, I go up there. So I have like an awesome crew, you know, Gary from England, my son, Dusty, and then Pilot, Reptile. So I start the night before and I was feeling so good. So the thing is, you know, sometimes people tell you stuff what to do and you don't know what to do. You just go, okay. But you don't research it out what you should do for you. I didn't really have time to know what I should be eating. I didn't practice that because I did that swim by chance. Yeah. So I wasn't practicing feeds that much, especially for Tahoe. Right. So I ate I mean, Gary's awesome, but he was telling me, he's telling me what works for him.
Right,
so
exactly.
Now what I would have done is that worked for you. Thank you for telling me that. Now what works for me? I should practice this. Yes. But I did exactly what someone else does. The guy would eat like 5 pounds of pasta before they swim. And maybe I wouldn't, you know. So I'm like, I'm gonna eat pasta right before I swim. So I literally ate like huge, like a Tupperware bowl full. And then, so that was my first mistake. So anyway, that was fine. So I start my swim feeling so good. I know to start slow, to get used to it. I'm just happy. My son's kayaking. And it was middle of the night and feeling great. Well, I started getting sick, but I didn't really say anything because I didn't want to bother people because I felt like I don't want to get them, gross them out. You know? But now I learned to tell people.
You tell people.
I'm like, blah, blah, like the projectile vomiting, but it's dark. Nobody really sees. I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine. So I kind of started doing that the whole time. But the thing is yeah, maybe I could projectile vomit on a swim and be fine. But when the altitude, you can't catch your breath. So I was like doing that. And I go, yeah, I'm good. And then I started, so the feeds, it's my fault. I had 1,000 feeds on the boat, options. Yeah. I don't drink tea. I'm not a tea drinker. Well, tea was there. Let's give her tea with perpetuum. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it was a mixed match of trying to give me stuff that in the middle of the night, it's hard to see. So I wasn't as organized. Now that I know simple, it wasn't simple. Oh, give her that because we can't find the coffee. Give her the tea and give her the perpetual and warm and then add some goo in it. So, okay, that sounds good. So I was having this weird feeds that I don't even know what it was, and ham sandwiches in the middle of the night, like huge ham sandwiches. And I go, what? I don't even like ham sandwiches, but I'm eating them because that's what maybe they do in England. I don't know. So I'm eating all this weird stuff. But in the meantime, so I'm super sick, but I'm looking up and there's thousands of like stars. So I'm actually enjoying it, but I'm sick, but I'm trying to work through it. And there's falling stars and my son was kayaking next to me. And then on the boat, they trade off kayaking. They're doing sea shanties and singing. And I'm like, they're having fun. That's making me happy. And so anyway, what happened was swim. I got to like 15 miles and I just go, oh my God, I can't move. Like I couldn't go any further. And day came and I was like, how much longer? And so I got so sick that I was really like sinking. Like I had a tracker, like an old fashioned one, and I sent it to maybe like 10 people. And my friend goes later, you were in place for like 2 hours. Cause I was like, I'm good. And I was swimming like breaststroke, but I wasn't moving. I'm okay. They're like, what's wrong with her? So really it was the altitude and my feeds and not trusting me. Yeah. I didn't know enough to trust what I should have and say, no, I don't want perpetuum and goo and tea at the same time. And I am getting sick. So I learned, so I didn't make it, but I go, and my husband, I go, tell my husband he's at the finish. No, I'm not going to be there. So, I had to worry about everybody who's here, to tell who I'm not at the finish. So I get out of I basically pretty much got pulled because otherwise they were going to pull me because I couldn't keep going. So then I get out and I was so sick, like on the side of the freeway, on the way back to from South Shore to North Shore. I was like on the side of the road, like going to the bathroom and out of my mouth, like sunny day. And all the tourists are like, oh my God, what's wrong with that lady? And I go, I don't care.
Partying too hard last night.
And my son's in the car going, oh shit, my mom, what's wrong with my mom? And then I was super sick. And then I get back to the place we were renting and my husband's there all happy. My son goes, no, she can't talk to anybody. She's just go to the bathroom. So my husband went home. But the thing is, that was my first failure. But the thing is of course I go, I'm never going to do the English Channel. There's no way I could ever do it. I'm so sick. I can't even talk. And my friend happened to be up there and she came by, give me some like muffins or whatever. And my son's like, no, you can't see her. Oh, can I just say hi? No, she can't. No, she's super sick. He saw me. So I go, I'm never going to swim the channel. I don't even like this. I hate it. And then like 3 days later,
Yeah.
that swim was like one of my favorite swims.
Of
That
course.
was one of my best memories ever. Oh, and I have to tell you, a memory of that swim is my favorite thing. So the thing is my failure actually was one of my favorite swims.
Okay. Is it the one you're most proud of?
No, but
No,
I'll
Your
finish.
favorite. Okay.
I'll just tell you this one part of the swim.
Yeah. Yes.
is so the beginning of it, I go down to Camp Richardson where you start at South Shore, and it was nighttime and nobody's really around. It was some maybe random people, but the place where you start, there's a little place I guess you can rent upstairs. It's not the restaurant, but it's right where you start the swim. And okay, so I was practicing a mantra because I knew I had a Buddhist monk told me about a mantra. So I was practicing it and it was real easy. Well, so I knew it was in my head and I told my crew, I'm going to do this mantra. So keep me on track. And out of the blue, so I'm getting ready, my swimsuit on, out of the blue, a van, nobody's in the parking lot. Out of the blue, a white van comes and out of it, like 10 monks. I go, what is the odds of this? So they're like all these monks. And I'm talking about my mantra, a Buddhist mantra before that. And they come out and my reptile or Tom goes, yeah, she's swimming the lake. You know, they're all excited to tell people. And they go, and she has a mantra. They go, excuse me. And so the lady who was there, they didn't speak English. The lady that was like hosting them, because they were here for like 3 days and going all these places and they were having a private thing upstairs. They go, she has a mantra and it's called this. And so this one guy runs away, the head guy, and he comes over and he gives me this ribbon and he goes, it was translated, this is a ribbon blessed by the Dalai Lama and the Oracle, which is like, I guess a big deal over there. And and they put it on my swimsuit, the monk, and he sang the mantra with me.
Oh,
and
wow.
I go, and that's what makes me, so the whole time I'm thinking of that ribbon, you know, about that was blessed to me and it's special. So this is special. So that was very special of that swim because all these neat things were happening even though I was sick. So it was a very special swim and a lot of things I learned, such as the feeds, trust yourself.
Yeah,
learn, practice, maybe practice in your kitchen and go walk circles and do your feeds truly, or eat that before you start swimming even for 3 hours.
Right.
So that was that swim, but it was very special. It's probably not my favorite, but it was very special.
Yes.
So anyway, that was my first big attempt. And I didn't make it.
Tell us about the swim that you're the most proud of.
So I think I'm proud of the English Channel.
Okay.
I think because that was my first thought to do something big, and maybe I'm even the idea came in my mind, and then when I went over there and I was actually doing it, so I had gone to meet Reg and Ray, and then I went again to meet him again, and I actually they didn't have camps, they didn't have camps there, but they didn't have like where you could try to go on a boat and practice. I guess they do that now, but I said to Gary, I go, can I go on a boat and just get on a boat and go to the shore just to practice? So get it out of my head what a start is like. Right, so that year I was going to do the English Channel, and I ran into this guy. Oh, Reg and Ray boat was being painted. So I went over to this guy named Stuart Gleason, who Gary, my coach, knew, and he got me on the boat. And then these people that run this camp called Barn Ridge, where you used to stay, it's closed. The owners of that got on my boat. It was like they go, we've never been on the boat. It's so fun. It was like celebrating their anniversary. I'm out there. And then Gary was with me, and I got to go to the start and practice on the beach and picture myself starting. So I already knew what the start was going to be like in my head. I did that on the Mother's Day weekend before I did my swim. I told my husband, I think I'm gonna go away to England for a couple of days. Is that okay? He goes, and then I had to be home in time for the kids to celebrate Mother's Day for me in case they wanted to, which of course I get home and they're like, hi mom, you know, but no big deal. But anyway, so the English Channel I think my favorite swim because all that was all towards doing that. Even though I didn't really know of anybody to do it, I was actually doing it. And I'll tell you a little bit about that swim. My brother came and my two friends from Santa Cruz, Scott Tapley and Kim Rutherford, and we're on the Monterey Bay Swim Association board together. They became my close friends and they're my confidants and my swim buddies, and they came with me and my brother. And so anyway, my brother wrote, because I was still like with my parents and I was still thinking about them with my swims, and my brother wrote every single name he could think of people that had passed away recently. Like, I reached out to some of my friends, anybody close to them, and they tell me this story about these people. Like, my Uncle Bud did this and he loved the ocean and he loved adventure. Or my sister was this. The people had passed away. So they're all on my body. And when I started that swim, I get in and I already knew the start. Like, I knew what it's going to feel like. And I just got in this zone and I was like ready. Like, I just let everything go. I go, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I truly, when I swam that, I truly, truly, truly felt like the angels were with me. All of them, my parents. I didn't feel like I guess this is fun. Like, I know it wasn't easy, but one time I go, oh, brother, how much longer? One time, but I'm like, what is it? What day is this? Where's the sun? But otherwise I felt like they were with me, and it was a special swim. And my brother had my dad's cowboy boots on as a special emergency. And my brother called himself the spiritual advisor, and he had a bell. So if I was too long with my feet, I go, I don't want any yelling. I don't want anyone to yell. He was going ding, 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 like, hurry up. And then, but anyway, that's my favorite swim because I didn't feel like it was a swim. I felt like truly I was being guided across. It was really weird. Like, that's cool. I really do. And the crew is just so nice. And Reg and Ray are like fishing out back and eating their fish. Like, is this real life? What is this? But that was super special. I really appreciate that swim. And Gary was going to be on my boat from England, but he had to fly that day. But I think that was my most special one. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we are running out of time.
Oh,
We're going to have you back. Don't apologize. I love it.
I didn't answer your question.
You totally did. It's an amazing, amazing journey. And so we will just have to have you back. But just really quick advice, don't apologize. What advice do you have for an aspiring marathon swimmer?
I would say anything's possible, because I'm just a regular lady. Don't be intimidated. You see people out there. I think a big one is if you can volunteer. If you have people like we're part of the Monterey Bay Swim Association, people volunteer and help. And then you feel like, you go, this is what they do. Like, I think if you can just offer, hey, do you need any help? And just find, just know that little by little, like tell the kids with grades, you don't have to get the A+, but as long as your percentage a little bit higher and higher, that's what I'm looking at, percentages. So if you can swim, like even like a half a mile, just you're capable of it. Everybody's capable. And get a good swimsuit, truly. Get the gear, get a good swimsuit you love. Get goggles and a cap, because some people want to do it, but they don't get that part. So they say, I can never do it. I don't have a swimsuit. Get the gear, but I would say volunteer, because then you get to see what this is all about, I'm sorry, I didn't say all the things I was going to say.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll have you back. How about what marathon swimmers inspired you?
Well, Evan Morrison to me is he's the most selfless person I know. He does all these hours and hours and hours from the goodness of his heart, like his heart's in it. And he, just has encouraged me with different things. He inspires me from the giving back part of it and being selfless and just wanting to give back, to be part of this sport and to make it better. And then, of course, my swim buddies are just, I look up to Kim Rutherford, Scott Tapley, Amy Goopser, is my, of course, Sarah Thomas, who helped guide me on some things. They all inspire me because I see what they're doing and I try to like emulate what they're doing. Very open and giving people to include, you feel incled. Yeah. But I think those are the ones. I'm sorry I spent so much time.
I loved it. Don't worry about it. We're going to have you back so we can really understand how you get through those hard parts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can continue my story.
Thank you, Robin.
Well, thank you.
I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks so much.
See you again next week.
Bye. Thanks, Shannon. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Robin. Bye, Shannon.
Bye, Christy.